For more videos on people's struggles, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hello and welcome to Around the World in 8 minutes, where we bring you news from people's movements and struggles across the world. Today we are here in New Delhi, India, where left parties and organizations have given a massive protest call against the military siege and constitutional coup in Kashmir. Recently, the far-right Bharatiya Janata Party government of India has passed legislation which revokes the special status of Kashmir, which granted the state autonomy. This legislation revokes Section 370 and 35A of the Indian Constitution, which were integral to Kashmir's accession to India in 1947 when the partition of India and Pakistan took place. The parliamentary procedures through which this move was passed by the Indian Home Minister Amit Shah and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi are being questioned for their constitutional legality and are also being termed as an attack on the democratic setup of the country. What also has to be noted that the way the entire state of Jammu and Kashmir was put under a military siege while these debates were taking place to ensure that no voices emerge from the valley and no news comes out from the valley has made this process completely undemocratic in what is supposed to be the world's largest democracy. And now we go to some of the protesters here to talk more about the situation.
Whatever has happened with Kashmir is absolutely atrocious, completely indefensible. And that's why we have given a call for a national protest, sustained national protest across the country against the atrocities that have been inflicted on Kashmir. We are calling for restoration of the constitutional status of Kashmir. We are calling for an immediate release of the Kashmiri political leaders and restoration of the communication links and the entire actually normal life in Kashmir. And the other thing is about the future of Kashmir. I think the government of India must immediately talk to the people of Kashmir, because anything about Kashmir must first be discussed and decided in consultation with the people of Kashmir. They should have the first say in deciding the future of Kashmir. But in this case, they have been kept completely in the dark. And it's the governor of Kashmir who actually represents the center in Kashmir. He has been treated as the voice of Kashmir. Now, this is a complete mockery of any idea of justice, any idea of democracy, or any notion of ethics. This is a completely indefensible trick that has been played with the people of Kashmir. So, and people are now talking about grabbing the land of Kashmir. Now, this question of land, now, it is not just the people of Kashmir who had certain protection about their land. There are many other states in India, many hill states, many tribal populated states, the tribal people in the 5th schedule areas where they have certain rights over their land. Their land is non-transferable. Nobody can buy that land. So one can easily understand who are these land grabbers who are now actually keeping an eyeing on the land of Kashmir. These are the same people who have been evicting the Adivasis from their land, who are diluting all those 5th schedule laws and evicting millions of tribal and forest dwelling people. Now, the way Kashmir has been, it was a state of India. And we have never before seen in India a state being reduced to the status of union territory. We have seen several Indian provinces like Uttar Pradesh, like Bihar, like Madhya Pradesh, like very recently Andhra Pradesh. Those states have been bifurcated into states. But in the case of Kashmir, what we have seen is completely unthinkable, where a state has now been demoted. The state no longer exists as a state. It has now been reduced to 2 union territories. So this is an absolute blow to any notion of federalism. Article 370 used to be a constitutional bridge which used to connect Kashmir with the rest of India. Now the government of India has unilaterally bound down that bridge. But what is absolutely clear, that this is this kind of centralization, this kind of unfettered and arbitrary, absolute centralization can only be a death knell, sound a death knell for the unity of India as a diverse, as a big country where we are united in our diversity, through our diversity, and where we coexist only as a federation. So these are very, very ominous signs about Kashmir, but about the entire country. And this is why we are for a sustained nationwide campaign, because the BJP, they are trying to celebrate their victory over Kashmir. They call it their victory. And this celebration, which can only be, when democracy is under attack, what is there to celebrate in a democratic country? When constitution is under attack, what is there to celebrate? When federalism is under attack in a diverse and vast country like India, what is there to celebrate? So this calls for a very sustained mass campaign, because people are bombarded. They are being bombarded with fake news. They are being bombarded with fake information from history. And this protest today in Delhi and across the country is just the beginning of a sustained mass campaign. And I think this is the only way we can carry forward the spirit of democracy in these challenging times.
Every one of us who claims that this is a democratic country, they should be ashamed of themselves. People have, we don't even have the fundamental right to speak. People were cut off. They didn't even know that this was happening to them. The stakeholders were unaware. We got to know in the morning and we didn't know what to do. It just hit us out of nowhere. And all of this was so cleverly planned. They took out the Yatris, they took out the tourists, but they locked down all the Kashmiris, which they claim are an integral part of India. They can't talk about integrity. It is colonization. And it's all about the territory. It's not about the people. And the people are angry and we're scared for our lives. I have to cover my face. I don't know where my family is. I can't contact them. And I don't know what will happen. I don't know what's next. They have so much power that we're just helpless.
First of all, we, the left parties and the democratic and social forces of this country, would like to extend our solidarity to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And when we claim that Jammu Kashmir is an integral part of India, we mean that not only the landmass, but the people of Kashmir is also part of India. And but by misusing the Indian Parliament, the Modi government has actually betrayed the people of Jammu Kashmir, because they are the first stakeholders of all this thing. But you have kept them in a sort of jail, and you have taken away all their individual rights, their human rights, and without consulting with them, and not only with consulting. The question is to keep them in a jail. So that is something undemocratic, and it violates all human rights, the laws and legislations nationally, internationally. So we are here. We have given, the left parties have given an all India call for protest, and we are here to express solidarity. So as part of that all India call, here also in Delhi, the left parties are organizing this march from Mandi House to Parliament. And we want to tell this government that it is a democratic country, and authoritarianism and unilateralism will not work in this country. And you cannot taken people for granted. You cannot taken the Kashmir people for granted, and you are going to see the consequences.
marchando junto a mí y a